Good morning, everyone. Well, I want to say hi, especially to single parents today. And that's also my case because I have been a single mother for 14 years. I have a 14-year-old boy, and it's been quite a journey. And why do I want to share this information today for single parents? Because there are certain observations that we need to do in order to help ourselves and our children to have a healthier relationship and a healthier life. Because when we haven't done these steps that I'm going to be talking about, it seems like everything is in order, but maybe it's not. And certain things that happen to them are showing us maybe that disorder in the system. And that's why I'm here today. The reason why I chose this topic is because somehow, synchronicity, the universe brought two cases this week. In my therapy, I do family constellations. And the subject was that, how these single parents were expecting, right, that the new parents, that are the new relationships, I'm sorry, or the new husband or the new wife, to somehow replace the biological parents that weren't present, let's say. That was the case. This was a woman who had a few children, and then the first father of these children wasn't present. Then she got a second relationship where she had another father, but from the beginning, this father, let's put it this way, she kind of knew he wasn't responsible enough to stay, so he didn't stay, and he couldn't participate. He wasn't there for the kid. So all of these things, we're going to be giving some observations that are important for you to see. So let's begin. Let's talk about the very first step that I want to talk here today is about assuming the responsibility of the parents that the partners, I'm sorry, that we chose to bring these children to life. Because maybe we haven't seen things this way, but we did chose that woman or this man to be the father or the mother of my child. I said yes. Even if I didn't marry, I said yes when I decided to connect in another level, and then the consequences, maybe it was our kid, right? And it is important that we take responsibility of what we accepted. And instead of trying to put guilt on the other one or blame it all on the other one, just say, oh, I take my part. Because 50% of why it didn't work was because somehow something happened there, but I'm taking the responsibility of what I didn't do or what I did accept it. That was the first step. The second one is we need to be careful with how we talk about the father or the mother of this child if that father or that mother is not present. If I'm a single parent and whether it is or not present, the other parent is present in this kid's life, I have to be careful on how I speak about that person. because we might give them a story, but we need to see how we are telling the story. Because if we haven't reconciliated this parent within my heart, then I'm speaking in this way that is kind of rejecting. I don't like him. And maybe I don't mean to say it, but your body is going to show it. So energetically, what you are telling is just also your body is reflecting. And your kid might be seeing that, is feeling it. Oh, my mom, there's something my mom doesn't like about my father. And when this happens, the kid says, if my mom doesn't like that about my father, then I'm going to deny that within me too, because I want to be with my mom. That's one of the things that can happen here. So this can affect this kid when that person becomes an adult, because I'm going to deny a part that is within me that is not accepted by my mom or by my father. Doesn't really matter. So what happens then in the future is gonna be hard for me to accept myself and to accept others, of course, because I'm not accepting myself the way I, all the things that are in here, because it just is part of me. And I'm trying to deny something that is here. And that's going to bring a lot of conflicts, especially when it comes to relationships. So be careful the way you speak with your children about the other parent that is absent or that is there, and maybe you don't agree or you don't like the way, or whatever it is that you don't agree is your perspective, but also work on the first step, that is acceptance of the responsibility and acceptance of, yes, I say yes for you to be his or her parent too. So that's very important. And that is a reconciliation that doesn't happen just thinking about it. It happens here. The reconciliation must happen within your heart. You don't have to go out there and tell the person this and that and that. You don't have to try to change this person's mind, because we all have different states of consciousness. Maybe you cannot communicate in the same level, but you can reconcile within your heart. So it's not about trying to resolve this outside, but it's within you. And I assure you that once you do this, actually the outside communication is going to change in a positive way. Okay, let's talk about another step. So step number 1 is saying yes. I accept that I say yes to this, right? So I take my part on it. The second one is the way I speak to my children about their father or their mother. And I'm also talking here a little bit about something that we tend to feel, especially if we're women, more than men maybe, and we feel guilty of not being able to give my kids this father that he needed, or to give this mother that they needed, because at certain point they're going to ask, and where is mom, and or where is dad, and why aren't they here, and maybe they don't love me, why aren't they with me, what happened? They need to know, they want to know, and it is fair for them to know, of course. And so we feel somehow guilty of not being able to provide that for them because of the circumstances. But it's also important here to liberate that guilt, because you didn't know, right? You didn't know what was, you didn't see it coming. You didn't see what was there. Maybe you just couldn't see it. And it didn't work because somehow also you were attracting into your life someone to show you something that you must see. so you can change it too. See, it's like the other one is coming to show me something that I need to see within myself. And it was through this parenting thing, probably. So that's important to see that the way to liberate that is saying, okay, I didn't get to see that, but I take responsibility for my part. So we can feel like, oh, that's a way to start liberating that guilt. And yes, we have to struggle sometimes because I'm a single mother too. And we have to struggle to be both maybe, and we cannot be both. But yes, we somehow need to work it out, because if I'm the mother, I need to create some structure of the father in my child, so he wouldn't be lacking that, because I cannot be just being so permissive and not teaching this kid the limits and how the structure in life, because everything has got a balance, right? And if the father wasn't there, then I have to be teaching this kid that, and that's how it is. Still, I cannot be both. I cannot be the mother and the father. I can be the mother, and I can teach this kid this structure that he needs by teaching him in this or that way. So that's very important to see too. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the importance of honoring the biological father or mother. And this is very important in this way. When I reject the other parent of my child, if it is the father, maybe I say, I don't like this person because of this or because of that. I'm also rejecting in my child that strength that comes, if in the case that is the father, the strength that comes from the origin. The origin of life has this strength that moves life, moves the action. And when I say no to that biological father, then I somehow deny in my kid that strength. And so when he grows up, he's going to be lacking some sort of like the strength to go do things, that motivation to go do things, that action, that leadership within him or within her. It's like I'm denying that, and if I deny that, I deny that in my kid, so my kid is going to be lacking that strength. So when I deny the father, that's what happens. When I deny the mother, then it somehow, I deny or the possibility for this child to connect to life, to connect with others, because somehow it's like I don't feel safe to be connecting with others. And that is very important. If we don't get to connect, we're going to have a lot of issues with, relationships, for example, for loving or accepting love. So that's why it's important to see this. So honoring the biological parents is very important, because it helps our children grow in a healthier way. Having everything that came with them and accepting that within themselves is the only way they are going to be able to move forward in life. And also, it is important that when we see them, we see that other parent within this kid. That's a part of how you can do it too. Like I see, if in my case, I see your father, I see my son and I see his father in him. And that is it's a way to accept that and to recognize that it's there. And this kid is going to feel comfortable with what is part of him. That's part of how I want to show this, so that you can do it yourself by just seeing that part that is important to include from the other. So let's talk a little bit about inclusion here that I just mentioned. So maybe the third or the fourth step is the inclusion. When I don't include because I haven't reconciliated, then I haven't included this other person or the other parent of my child, then that's creating that inner conflict within your kid. And so maybe if another relationship comes, another person comes to be, a second husband or a second wife or another relationship, you're going to have a sort of a conflict that is not going to flow easy because you haven't been able to reconcile the first one within your heart. And when I say this, is that this very first person that is the parent of your child came to teach you something, to show you something that you must see, that you haven't been able to see, and that you need to see to be able to change it. And if you don't change that, guess what? Maybe the second relationship is going to have the same dynamic and maybe ended up the same way. And I'm saying this because the case of this woman that came is she had 5 different relationships with different kids too. And she couldn't see what was happening there. And if we don't consciously see it, then we repeat it. That's a pattern that we create because the universe wants to show you, that look, this is what you must heal. You haven't been able to see this. You need to learn this in order to continue so you can get a better or healthier relationship the way you want it. See, that's how it works. We do the homework, then the next one is going to be different. But we must take from the first one what we learn with gratitude and reconciliation and good consciousness. So that's another important part to see. That's another observation that I wanted to give you today. Okay, let's go to the 5th step, and it's got to do with this. If we marry again, let's put it this way, or we find a new relationship, a new person to live with, and we have children, there is a tendency to expect this new person that is coming in the relationship to be that father or that mother that wasn't there for my kids. And that is not going to work because we cannot put the responsibility of our children on others. That's how it is. Unless it's not that they cannot accept that, those children. Yes, maybe they feel love and they connect and affection and they participate, they are there for them, but we cannot expect. Why am I saying this? Because this woman with this case that I'm talking about, she used to say, and I was expecting this man to be the one to be that father role for my children so they can walk straight, that was her expectation. But see, she was looking for someone to take that responsibility. So she attracted men that weren't responsible. Isn't that something? We attract what we resist because we must first see it within ourselves first. What part am I not accepting? I'm not accepting to be responsible maybe of saying yes to this man. That was one of those things that we got to see. Yeah, I'm not being responsible of that. And accepting that is the first step to change, for example. So yes, there are second parents, let's put it this way, that somehow adopt these kids when they come in the relationship, in a second relationship where you have your own kids and they participate of helping with the kids and teaching them and that is beautiful, but we have to remember always that there is a biological father or mother that came first. And that's going to create order. Order in that system. And it's going to flow better. And also when this maybe the second father that come into the relationship honors that first person, no matter how they did, no matter if they were present, no matter how they act, no matter what they have those issues, it's just honoring that place because they are part of that system. And that inclusion is very important for the new system to work, to flow. So the inclusion is very important for the mother, for the new father, let's put it this way, father to be, or not father to be, but the new role person that is going to be there. And that's what I wanted to share today, because I think it is important for you to do your checklist and see if these observations are giving you some insights and see if you have done your part. Have you taken responsibility for that? And so if you have, congratulations, because you're helping your system, your kids, your relationship, your new relationship to go better. And the inclusion of this first biological father or mother there is also helping, and it's healthy for everyone in the system. So congratulations if you have done so. If you haven't, I do one-on-one sessions online if you are interested on working on something like this. And I do work online, and I also do group sessions. And so you can constellate one-on-one or in a group. I go Tuesdays at 7:30 through Zoom, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And you're welcome to join us. And also you can contact me on mayadaridelsol.com. You can get an appointment there if you're interested on schedule your appointment and say, okay, Maya, I'm ready to put order in my system because I'm ready to work this new relationship and I want it to work in a better way, in a different way. Okay, so I think that's it. If you like this information, maybe you can share, and maybe someone else is also needing to hear some sort of this angle of the picture that maybe haven't been able to see. And also, if you like it, you can give it a like. And if you haven't subscribed, I invite you to do so. I have a lot of content that I'm going to be uploading relating to the relationships between, in the system, in the family, and how we can improve our relationships by just putting order, systemic order. I do facilitate family and systemic constellations for the ones that don't know. And if you visit my website, mayadaridelsol.com, there is a page there that says Family Tree Constellations, and you can go read more about it. Or you can check my videos here on YouTube, and you are going to be able to find more information on how the system works, how we are connected to those memories from the past and from our ancestors, and how we can liberate them, because that's the most important part. Okay, thank you for listening and thank you for watching. I'll see you next time around. Have a blessed, beautiful day. And of course, yes, and a blessed day too. Bye.